So today we have a lot of fun things planned. We're gonna be starting it out though by doing a walking tour that I actually found from the YouTube channel Your Guides Abroad. To plug them and the exact trail that they recommend, I'm gonna put that in the description here so that way you guys can watch it too. So first stop is you're gonna take a stop here at Tower Hill Station because you'll be right here at the Tower of London, which is super cool to look at. Sorry, before we go over there though, right across from it is this giant wall. This is actually a relic of London's Roman wall, which was built around 200 AD. Right across from the Tower of London is the infamous Tower Bridge, oftenly referred to as London Bridge, but that's the incorrect name. It's actually Tower Bridge, and it's really, really cool. And it does go up and down. Then down it goes. I'll be honest, this is super, super cool. Just being in this area, seeing the Tower Bridge and then the Tower of London right there. I wish we had more time to explore the Tower of London on this trip, but unfortunately we don't have enough time on this trip because we got so much more things to see, and so we're just kind of trying to see everything that we can and then just keep moving. By the way, we've been wearing coats and gloves this entire trip because it's been absolutely freezing for us here in Florida. From being in Florida to coming here, it's been absolutely freezing. It's been like in the 30s and 40s and 50s, which is winter for us. And so we're bearing with the cold here while we're here. One of the interesting things is just seeing the London skyline over here and just seeing like the differently shaped buildings. It's a little interesting to look at. It's like they were all just designed independently of each other. And it's just so fascinating looking at some of these. So part of the tour from Your Guides Abroad is actually the HMS Belfast. It's a war ship. I believe it was World War I, World War II. If you want to be able to stop by it, there's a ticketing area right over here. It's just perfectly on the route. We've seen a lot of ships in America, and we just don't have time for this one, unfortunately, but it's cool that it's over here. You're going to be able to explore this giant warship. It's kind of fun being able to see all the things we've seen so far on this little walk, and it hasn't been even that long. It's been like maybe less than 30 minutes to an hour. But it's kind of fun being able to see everything here on the Thames. So going from the Tower Bridge to Borough Market, we ended up getting lost along the way. And this was kind of the trickier part because Google Maps kind of led us in a weird location. And regardless, we ended up in Southwark Cathedral. And Southwark is a really cool part of the city because it has all this cool history in it. But the cathedral there is just super, super, super cool. It's one of these ancient chapel locations that's been around since like the 1500s or something like that. There are things in here that are centuries older than even things like in America. And it was just super mind-blowing to be able to look at it. There were actual like graves of people who were part of their church that were buried in the church. And we're kind of like trying to be careful as we're stepping around because we're like trying to be respectful of the area. But it's just so fascinating seeing all the architecture, the beautiful intricate stonework and all these, beautiful things. They even had like a little area dedicated to William Shakespeare in there because he was near that area that he went to church. And on top of all of this, the most random thing in the world, there's a cat. And the place owns a little church cat, and it has a little church bell around its collar. And we just saw it walking down through the pews, and it was just super adorable. But it was kind of an amazing sidetrack. They actually had an area of the church where they peeled back some of the layers of the foundation, and you can actually see that it was built on some of the Roman roads that were there too as well. Just absolutely really cool, just accidental discovery. So Sierra and I kind of stumbled into this chapel that was actually open, and they had so many really cool things to see in here. It was very beautiful, and it was completely free to tour, but they do take donations if you're interested in being in the area. This is the same cathedral we were just in, and right to the left of it is where you need to head. We're gonna be heading to Borough Market.
kind of cool. It's like a giant farmer's market, basically. But they have all kinds of food stands and stalls and everything in here. If you guys can kind of tell, this area looks a lot like Diagon Alley does at Universal. But it smells amazing here. I wish you could smell this. So many different smells and like sensations. Like I'm smelling like some fish, I'm smelling like some meat, I'm smelling breads, all kinds of delicious things. This place is just popping. It's just nice being able to see from the outside. But it's just so cool. A lot of cool things going on in here. I decided to get these fresh thing of chocolate covered strawberries, which looks really good. Let's try it out. Sorry. Those look really good. So I got the fish and chips. Sierra really liked this one sausage roll thing that looked really, really good. We got some brown sauce to go with it, which is really sweet too as well. But yeah, how's it good so far?
It's good.
Nice.
It's venison meat.
So that place was awesome. For me at least. I like Borough Market. It seems like it's very bustling, but it can be very overwhelming. So just know that you're going in, there's going to be a lot of people.
Really prepare yourself with how crowded it will be.
But those chocolate covered strawberries were phenomenal. That was probably my favorite thing that we had there. That was really good.
I also liked my Venetian sausage.
The venison sausage. Venison, it's not Venetian. Thank the Venetians, they invented it.
So Borough Market is just an, inexplainable area. It is so crowded. There are so many people there. We were trying to find a place to even just stand, and security was just like, hey, you can't stand here. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll get out of the area. And it was just kind of a little bit of an overwhelming thing. Once we found that little, that nook that we ended up just hanging out at, we kind of just hung there for a little bit, and that became our base of operations. And then one of us would go in, grab something, and that would typically be me, because I could navigate through the crowd. But I can't tell you enough how much that food tasted amazing. The chocolate-covered strawberries that we got here were quite literally the best food that we ate in the entire trip. That was it. It wasn't like anything major, like food-wise, anywhere else. It was those chocolate-covered strawberries, and I'm still craving them to this day. They were just so good.
And we're seeing all kinds of wildlife here in London. That's a fox. We're still currently following that guide that's listed in the description below. Our next stop will be the Globe Theatre. We're excited for checking that out. So where we're currently standing is actually currently the location of what remained of the old version of the Globe Theatre. That is where Shakespeare's plays and stories were all done and finished, and that is currently where we are standing on right now. While the Globe was originally torn down eventually in the 1600s, there's some elements that still remain, such as this brickwork right over here. It's kind of like marking that area where they discovered some of the still standing foundations of the Globe itself. That's where the red brick you see there, which is really cool to see that hundreds of years later. Over here we actually have the rehearsal studios for the current Globe Theatre that we're about to go see right here. And it's just on the way. Over there is St. Paul's Cathedral, which we'll be heading to in just a little bit. And over here is the Globe. The new Globe, I should say. This one has not been around since the 1600s. I think this one was actually finished in the 90s. But it is a direct replication of the Globe Theatre, which is really cool. I wonder if we can get a tour. That'd be kind of cool. So unfortunately, we do not have time to be able to catch the full 2-hour tour because we have other things we have to do. But we'll definitely be coming back here, and hopefully maybe in the summer when it's warmer, we can come see a show here or something like that. Because again, it's freezing cold, and it's an outdoor theater, which is really, really cool because that's how it used to be. We were overhearing a tour guide over here though talking that next year, this theater will have been opened as long as the original Globe Theatre. So this did reopen, this building opened in the 90s. Shakespeare's theater only lasted about maybe 30 years before it burned down and then was destroyed and then reopened. At that length of time, this theater will now have been standing as long as that one is. So it's kind of fun to be able to see that, which is a really cool thing. We're now going to move on to our second to last thing on this little walking tour, and then we'll be on our way. This bridge over here is our next stop. It's the Millennium Bridge. If you remember carefully from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, this bridge was destroyed by Death Eaters, but thankfully they rebuilt it. So that was very kind of the City of London to rebuild this after the Death Eater attack. This building right next to the Millennium Bridge, though, is the Tate Modern Art. It's a museum of modern art here in London. We don't have time to see it, and Sierra and I are not much for modern art, but it's pretty cool that it's right here too as well. And again, we started today all the way over there, and then we got to see so much on this little tour, so definitely check out this thing. After crossing Millennium Bridge, we're now heading straight to St. Paul's Cathedral, which was, for Disney fans, most famously used in Mary Poppins, or at least the backdrop of it was.
So we were not able to unfortunately see St. Paul's Cathedral on the inside too much because sadly it was going to be a 2-hour tour, which would have been amazing, and it would have only cost us about £50, which is just a little pricey because unfortunately we didn't really have much time. We were quite literally going to be on a train to our next location, but this entire event, this entire tour, everything you just saw, only took us about 3 hours, and we were taking our time. We got lost in Southwark Cathedral. We kind of rambled a little bit through Borough Market, and we took some pictures outside of the St. Paul's Cathedral, including my absolute favorite one from this entire trip, which I'll show you right now. The entire thing was just such a great tour, and I really can't hype up Your Guides Abroad enough. That entire sequence was very seamless, it was very fun, and truthfully, it was just the easiest thing we could have followed. And I can't recommend it enough. It helped us see most of London and a good chunk of London in only a couple hours. And we could have easily spent more time in a bunch of different places. We could have spent more time at the Tower of London. We could have done a tour of Tower Bridge. There's so much more we could have done. But sadly, we didn't have enough time to see this stuff on this trip because we are finally about to see something I had been wanting to see for nearly 20 years. And I'm excited to show you guys that in the next video.